Tencent, owning stakes in more than 600 companies, to building a business that revolves around copying other tech giants' ideas and blocking TikTok content which they do not feel suitable for the audience. These actions are not part of the state or federal government of a country, but are actions that are taken by one giant company. A company that has now become so big that its authority is in the form of stake in almost every company we know can bring down the entire world economy with a snap like Thanos. Because from a distance, this organization calls itself a technology and entertainment company. But if you look closer, this bad boy secretly wants to take over the world. In other words, think of the products of the companies that you use. You drive Tesla, it owns a stake in it. You play Fortnite, it owns a stake in it. You love L'Oreal products, it owns a stake in it. You love Udemy courses, it owns a stake in it. You use Snapchat, it owns a stake in it. You love music, it owns a stake in Spotify and Universal Music Group. They control over 15% of the global gaming market share and over 51% of the Chinese gaming market, and is the most profitable company in gaming. More profitable than companies like Sony, Apple, Nintendo, EA, Google, and much more.
And just look how happy he is.
Everything breaks at the seams, and you feel like you're losing belief. Damn it, you just gotta stay strong when it all falls apart and goes wrong. When you feel let down and so lost, and it feels like you can't hold on. Well, damn it, you just gotta stay strong, 'cause sometimes things go wrong, and one day everything's gone, but you can make it out and move on. So damn it, you just gotta stay strong.
Last week, we discussed about Tencent, the Chinese company Tencent, basically being labeled a Chinese military company by the Department of Defense. Now, understand, we'll start off with this part. If you're a company in China, you know that you're going to have a part of it being monitored. You're going to have members in your company that are part of the CCP. Yes, part of the Chinese government. We know this for a fact. We know this is the situation with TikTok. That situation. This is why, the shutdown was inevitable for TikTok. It's not censorship, and we don't want to shut it down. But the thing about it is, you have a company that has been entrenched with members of the military and government controlling certain aspects of it, including the information that is processed through the company. Now, Tencent, runs certain gaming companies of that, including Riot Games, League of Legends, and stuff like that. And you look at it and it says, well, they're just a gaming company. How, what can they do with, a lot of things. A lot of things. You have to remember, it starts at one point when you're spying on another country. It starts at one point, and you think it's nothing. You think you brush it off as being, boys will be boys, this will be that, and and you just brush it off. But then you realize when it's too late that basically they've entrenched themselves into your country, and which that has happened. We've heard stories that, the Chinese government has their secret police working inside the United States.
This nondescript office building in the heart of bustling Chinatown in Lower Manhattan has a dark secret.
An ominous description from U.S. Attorney Breon Peace, who says that until several months ago, an entire floor hosted an undeclared outpost station of the Chinese National Police.
Now just imagine the NYPD opening an undeclared secret police station in Beijing. it would be unthinkable.
Lu Jianwang and Chen Jinping, seen in this photo from the criminal complaint, are accused of helping set up the station. But U.S. officials say it was not the type of police force the average American might think of. Instead of combating crimes, they say, they were committing them. Specifically, acts of transnational repression, where a foreign government, in this case China, stalks or intimidates individuals in the United States.
The Chinese National Police appear to have been using the station to track a U.S. resident on U.S. soil.
And I'm not talking through, like we have the FBI working in many different countries in this situation due to certain crimes. We're talking about a secret police force looking to arrest Chinese citizens and take them back to China for trial. Yeah, that has happened. They're trying to stop the descent of Chinese Americans that these people did, because it's freedom of speech in the United States. They don't want them talking about China. They don't want them talking on how bad it is in China. Now, Tencent has come back with an answer to this situation and is threatening legal action. So we're going to read this. This is out of Eurogamer. Tencent threatens legal proceedings if the U.S. doesn't overturn the decision to label it as a Chinese military company. And the subtitle heading is, but first, the company will initiate a reconsideration process to correct this mistake. Chinese megacorp Tencent has doubled down on its assertions that it is not a Chinese military company, saying that if the U.S. Department of Defense doesn't not resolve any misunderstandings, it will undertake legal proceedings. In a published statement, which the company said it makes a voluntary basis, it stressed that the firm was neither a Chinese military company nor a military fusion contributor to the Chinese defense industrial base, and that while the allegation does not affect Tencent's business, the U.S. Department of Defense made a mistake when it publicly classified the firm as a Chinese military company. Initially, the company insisted that the inclusion on the list was simply a misunderstanding, but this subsequently statement makes it a much firmer line, saying that the company intends to initiate a reconsideration process to correct the mistake. During the process, it will engage in discussions with the U.S. Department of Defense to resolve any misunderstanding, and if necessary, will undertake legal proceedings to remove the company from the CMC list. The company will make further announcements as when appropriate. As Tom reminded us when this first bubbled up last week, Tencent reached across the global video game industry is enormous. It owns League of Legends, developer Riot Games, Dune Awakening maker Funcom, and the UK outfit Sumo Digital, in addition to several of its own companies, such as Pokemon's Unite maker Tim Studios. It is also in discussion with Ubisoft over a potential stock buyout. Now, if these were all American companies, this would be considered a monopoly to the situation, what Tencent's doing. And you notice how they're buying up left and right. And, they're buying companies that make product for the West. You notice that. It's not mostly stuff for the East, it's mostly stuff for the West. Why is that? Because basically they're monitoring, and saying in the game station, they're monitoring gamers, they're monitoring who they are, where they are, who they possibly might be related as far as family members. Now, understand, some of these gaming companies work with the U.S. military, because a lot there are games out there that the U.S. military plays that they use to test, some of their soldiers with it. And you also got to know that in some bases throughout the world, U.S. military plays video games. You understand that, on their off days to relax, and the thing about it is that is a danger in itself. knowing where your enemy is at all times, knowing, their movements. Because, most of the military communications are encrypted, which, okay, China military might break it sometimes, but it keeps getting changed. Whereas if you're online on a server, a Chinese server, it's being monitored by the Chinese military. Okay, think about that for a minute. Think about how much information you put in there, your credit card information, if you're going on a particular server, how you pay for your games, remember that to that point. That information is out in the open, and you say, well, what could happen? What's the worst could happen? Well, ask the members of the Ashley Madison website and many others that have had their information removed, even the Social Security Administration. The information that is being put on in the dark web, think of it as being sold out there. Think what a military outfit for a particular country would use that information for. Put that in your mind, because it is a issue. Tencent has always been an issue. TikTok has always been an issue. TikTok itself is a propaganda site for China. Take a look at the Chinese version of TikTok versus the Western version of TikTok. It's totally different. It is not the same. Not one iota similar. And remember, here's the thing. If you haven't seen this, and I put this out there always, China has factory mills of content creators. And what I mean by that is they have warehouses full of young women, young men, mostly women, that sit there for hours upon hours creating content. Okay? Think about that. Think of how much is edited out there. Some of these TikTok challenges that have killed kids, killed Western kids. There are lawsuits still pending to this day on TikTok. As an app itself, I don't want it to go away, but its ownership is the problem. That's the question in everyone's mind. Understand that. If an app is a danger to our national security, it should not be operating in our country. It's not censorship. It is protecting the American citizen. Because, honestly, if one of these go away, there's another, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have X, Rumble, there are many other places you can go. And already the Chinese are trying to create another site similar to TikTok. But the thing about it is already the American government is way ahead of this and ready to shut any other systems similar to it down. And remember, they have other sites. They have shopping sites. They have shopping on TikTok. They have Temu. That's just a danger in itself. Because people say, well, I'm looking for a bargain. I said, I would not trust that. It's going like picking up something from the dollar store that is just like an off-brand that you never heard of, instead of crust, that kind of situation. Because understand, a lot of those products that come from overseas, from China, are not the same standards as it is in the U.S. I mean, obviously, if it's a U.S. company that are dealing with factories in China, they try to make sure that it's within the law. But they're going to sneak some shit in that basically isn't. This is why we need, made in America once again. We need that back as well. So we'll continue to monitor the situation with Tencent. And we'll get back to you if we hear anything else. So let me know in the comments below. Comment. Tell me your thoughts about this. Should Tencent be removed from the list, continue on the list? Should they be blocked from doing business in the U.S.? Should Riot Games be blocked from the app stores, for on their League of Legends and the other games that they do officiate on Tencent? So let me know in the comments, but don't forget to hit that like, share this video, and hey, listen, there's that little button on there that says subscribe. Do hit that right now. We do appreciate it. We're about 1273 right now. Let's try to push to get to 1500 and then 2000 before the spring or the summer on there. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. We really thank you for clicking on this video, because there are thousands and thousands of videos out there that you could have clicked on, but you clicked on ours, and we really thank you for that. Until next time, bye-bye now.